Hello. So there are a few theories of coaching that have resonated throughout the entirety of this course. One of the most important ones is, of course, sticking to a code of ethics. It is important from the beginning between coach and client that boundaries are discussed and set. It is important that roles are defined and boundaries are stuck to. There may be instances where between coach and client where that might seem like they can get kind of confused, but it's important to stick to it. It is important for the coach to recognize their limitations with some clients if they really find that really they might not be the right fit for them. That it's important to be upfront about it, and so that the client can find the best possible coach for them that can provide them with the tools that they need to find their own success. And it's also really important for a coach to not limit themselves in what they know. It is important for a coach to always be willing to learn more. People never stop learning. So that's why I think cultural competence is very important. It's always important to be surrounded by situations and people where you might not be familiar with, and to be willing and to learn more about them. And to learn more about them, to understand them, and to be able to, in a way, not so much work with them, but of course work with them, but relate to them, and because we're from a person-to-person level. So it's important if you are working with a client that comes from a completely different background, whether it be ethnicity, economically, etc. It is important to do what you can to understand what it might be like from their perspective. No one can completely understand what it's like to be another person. Only the individual knows what it's like to be them. It is important to be sympathetic towards them and to be able to find an understanding for them. That can get muddled. A weakness for that could be assuming too much. Assuming from anyone's point of view, it never really helps. You just jump to conclusions, and it's important not to assume you know what it's like to be someone else, because you don't. You'll never know what it's like to be another person. The only person you'll always know what it's like to be is you. So it's important to have, to be understanding, but to not feel like you know what it's like to be someone else. And I think this can be an effective form of coaching because it allows you to be empathetic towards other people. It allows you to sympathize, but also know that everyone's coming from a different place, and sometimes it might not make sense at first, but there is a reason behind every behavior. There is a reason people's actions are the way they are, and it's important to not judge, but to understand. And if these behaviors are holding them back in some way, then it's important to understand the reasoning for these behaviors and to help the client work through them and come to a conclusion that will be helpful for them in carrying on with what they do. And this needs to be done in a way that is upfront from the beginning. The coach needs to be able to let the client know that they're, what they're there to do, so that they can work together as a team to bring forth the conclusion that can benefit the client and what they're doing in their current working environment.